Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Victory Square Technologies channel, forefronting the next tech giants. Joining us today is the Chief Executive Officer, as always, Shafin Tajani. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, first and foremost, man, Happy New Year. We've got lots to kick off in because your vast portfolio of companies here, always something coming out. I noticed for Q1 here, you guys already released a special common share dividend of its interest in portfolio company Fantasy 360. I don't know if that's relevant for you to touch on, and along with just any other guidance you can offer to investors just in this first quarter.
Yeah, so the common share dividend that we gave out in F360 was actually the third common share dividend that we gave out in 2021. So again, a great, kind of sweetener, for our Victory Square shareholders for their patience. What we had kind of been practicing in 2021 is once, we kind of, one of our portfolio companies had been mature to the point of being spun off, we wanted to make sure that we were rewarding our shareholders with that. And so there were three of those in 2021. As we look forward, though, I think for Catalyst in the next 90 to 120 days for Q1 and just touching into Q2, we have a couple of other companies that are preparing for a listing, and those are Stardust Solar, so it's our renewable energy company, Ternium Technology Group, Copilot Advisors, and Creator.co. So those four companies are preparing for next year, and I think we're looking at investors can anticipate potential common share dividend in 2022 as well.
So lots to look forward to, and it's really neat, the companies, because the unlocking of that value, bringing those public, I'm sure has got some retail audience there a little bit excited. But do you want to briefly touch too on the macroeconomics that we currently live in between this hyperinflated, interest probably raising environment next to hopefully what'll be the last hurrah for COVID as we get through this? Is any of that kind of impacting your global portfolio here? Is there anything happening internally, or are you guys kind of grazing through this continually as we discussed last time?
Well, there's kind of two things. One, when we look at 2021, I think from January to April, we had a VWAP of around 88 cents, and I think the overall microcap space was performing very well. From May of last year to December, our share price, declined, as did most of the microcap space. It was a pretty bad latter half of 2021. But fundamentally, the business grew stronger. I think when we look back at last year operationally, we were very successful. We, sold our position in Argo, sold an asset, our Limitless product, and two companies got spun out: Game On Entertainment and Fantasy 360 Technologies. And then, Covalent CQT was listed, and then we issued 3 common share dividends. So from a macro perspective, I think the microcap space was hammered last year. So from a share price perspective, it was kind of negative all around, but operationally and fundamentally, we felt very good. Now, as we look ahead, to 2022 and 2023, I think the one thing we've focused on is there's uncertainty in the market. There's a lot of volatility. Operationally, we're sound. We've got a healthy balance sheet, and so during these uncertain times, there's generally opportunity. A lot of people are scared, they're on the sidelines. So when we look forward, we've obviously got our business goals and objectives for this year, but we also feel that we can be opportunistic if there's any sort of, if there continues to be uncertainty, where there's some good buying opportunities or some good investment opportunities that we can kind of accelerate our business model. So that's kind of how we've looked at it. And just one other thing, from a Victory Square perspective, we're long-term. So we're not necessarily looking at things, from a quarterly basis. We're looking at things within these 3 to 5 year kind of windows. And so a lot of the sectors and spaces we're in are, there's a lot of innovation. So whether it's digital health, renewable energy, so anything related to climate or Web3 for that matter, which includes DeFi and NFTs and the metaverse. These are sectors that are going to continue to grow over time, and they're going to be big, and we believe we'll get asymmetrical returns from there. So for us, the most important things are be in the right spaces where the companies have good board, good management team, healthy balance sheets. They can withstand any sort of volatility in the markets. For the parent company, Victory Square, to have a healthy balance sheet so we can be aggressive, if there are uncertain times to, kind of accelerate our growth. But, we found that the map, from a micro cap perspective, the latter half of last year was where the big impact was. And so for us, I think looking forward, we're hoping that there's some stability on the microcap side, and our companies are long term. We feel very, very good in them. So.
Yeah, I find it very intriguing because it almost would appear that we're in a bear market outside of the few handful of large caps, because I think over 40% of the NASDAQ, well over 0.5% of the Dow are all have stocks trading down over 30 to 50%, right? But then you're looking at companies like yourself and a bunch of others where they're now trading well below their underlying asset values, with a lot of potential moving forward. So there's good hope for people looking for some discounts in those smaller cap potential companies, right? Like yourself, especially considering the diversity you guys offer. Always love hearing from you, Shafin, and the insights you offer to the retail audience. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And on that note, folks, if you have any questions whatsoever, let us know what you think in that comment section below. And down the road, perhaps we could bring it up to Shafin and talk about some of his portfolio companies. And in light of that, consider subscribing for those future updates as the news comes down the wire. But stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you in the next one.